Howdy, folks. Welcome back to Two Gun Podcast, episode 3. We've done it. We've completely shifted our entire setup around, but we think that this setup is way better, way more gooder. Let me know in the comments if you guys actually like this setup better. Me and Danny both think this is a whole lot better. Not only background, but seeing our faces, the whole nine.
You can see us both. It's not awkward at the end of the table. I don't know why we didn't start with it this way.
Yeah, I don't know. We're kind of stupid, but we're working our way through it. We got it. But anyways, welcome back. Yeah, we got a few topics we're going to go over. Hat shapes. What else we got?
Just some hat shapes. We're going to hit on dog breeds.
Dog breeds. That's what we decided on. We were going back and forth right before we started on what exactly we were going to talk about. Some stuff got shit canned, but cause we basically just don't want too many feathers right off the bat. So, and I certainly don't want to talk out my ass or anything. So I make sure that both of us are 110% educated on anything we talk about.
We're going to touch a little bit on some etiquette stuff.
Yep. Tradition.
You can give it,
tradition
take it.
stuff. Give it, shove it up your ass. Don't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Any of those options are not going to hurt our feelings. We're just here to make sure that we're entertaining you and keeping it interesting. So let's get at it.
Perfect. You want to hit on hat shapes first?
Yeah. What I got on is perfect, and that everybody else should do exactly that. Everything else is wrong.
So that's most people's thought process on hat shapes.
That's why I said that. That's why I said that. It's very important that we focus on. I mean, you can do whatever the hell you want. Seriously. I mean, everybody's got their own opinions, and I do love the fact that hat shapes is being able to have your own creativity. Now, relatively, you shape your hat style. I mean, everybody has their own style, but there is categories of styles that you fall under, and there's different ways to do those styles, but relatively, there's a million different ways to do how you want your hat.
Yeah. You got a bunch of different styles. I mean, you can go with a brick top. You can go with kind of an open crown. You can go with that top. You can go whatever front you want. The one thing that bothers me, though, is when you see people walking around with their hats backward. Like, actually on back.
I do really want to hit on you see all the time. I mean, on Instagram, TikTok, you already know what video it's going to be. When you open up the comments, you know that the first comment's going to be he's wearing his hat backwards. And I guarantee you there's going to be people watching this like, oh, this guy's got his hat on backwards, talking about people saying other people have their hat on backwards. But some people just don't understand that.
Okay, this is a prime example of wearing your hat backwards. You see people walking around like this. Now, look at Cameron's hat, for example.
You want to see mine on actually backwards?
You see people walking around like, really.
I mean, we look like Roy Rogers right now.
We really do.
We do.
Maybe in the 40s, yeah, you had some of that more taco shape than we have now. And I can do that with my hat because its memory is impeccable. We were talking about that earlier. But
yeah, we've been all around creation today, getting new props for this setup. Got a new pack saddle. What else we just...
Here.
Centerpieces. Yep, pack saddle right there. Danny, give them a breakdown in case they don't know what that is.
Well, you use it to pack into the mountains. You throw it on a pack horse, pack mule. You can pack all your goods in. It's how the old timers used to get around. They had their horse and their pack animals. And I know I'm saying pack a lot right now, and it doesn't make sense to some people.
Pack rat.
Basically, you can use boxes, panniers is what they're called. Throw them on the side of your mule. Throw them on here. Throw them over however you want. We use these for our manny loads mostly. Which eventually down the road we might stick a Manny over here. Stick it right in here. We've talked about doing that. And you'll see what we're talking about then. It's just basically taking a tarp and wrapping your stuff up in it.
I let Danny talk about this stuff because I'm a novice packer. I'm not a packer. Danny grew up in the mountains and done this his whole life, so I usually don't like to touch on the packing stuff because I don't talk about things I don't know.
Well, and there's a lot. I think we touched on that in our first video that I grew up doing it and did it as a job for a while, but no, there's so many tricks of the trade to learn on that one. There's stuff you can always learn. Same with everything, though.
Oh, don't you guys worry, though. We're going to the mountains this year. We are going to film it as well, so we are going to have some content on that, hopefully. I have a big hopefully, because both of us are very busy with work, so.
We got off topic. We're talking about hat shapes.
Yeah. Sorry. It was introducing. Anyways, hat shapes.
You got your flat brims?
Yeah, you got your flatties.
Oh, yeah. You know, that's like a whole...
We're not. I don't want to touch too much on that because we're both not flatters. So
we're not flat hatters.
No, we're not flat hatters. So we're not going to touch on that.
People that like their flat hats, they are flat hat till they die kind of people.
Oh yeah.
But
if you wear a flat hat, there's a chance you'll wear a flat hat till the day you die.
9 times out of 10, they're a hand.
9 times out of 10.
And that 10th guy just doesn't know what the fuck he's wearing.
What did Coulter Wall say? Better put that buckaroo hat back on the shelf. But yeah, there's a million different ways. Me and Danny were talking earlier, and like I said, I don't really know, but I think that the brick style is a Canadian thing because I see a lot of Canadian. There's a few Canadian hat makers that I see on Instagram. Samson Moss is one of them. I hope I'm saying that correctly on camera, but Samson Moss.
Samson, if you're hearing this, if you're ever watching this, we'd like some hats.
Yeah, like I said, I don't want to.
We could both use an upgrade.
Yeah, I was saying it right. I've seen him on Instagram, and he does a lot of brick stuff, and I think he's out of Alberta, Saskatchewan, one of those flatter parts of Canada. There's another one I can't, for the life of me, can't remember any of his info, but I see him on my feed all the time, and he does a lot of brick stuff too. A lot of brick crowns, and like I said, that's what is making me start to think that the brick crown is a very Canadian thing to do. But either way, the reason I say that is that there is different styles that people tend to stick with in their region or field of cowboying, or because the old Texans. The Texans love their taco brims.
They love their taco brims.
Oh my goodness, I think they're hideous, but it's their own.
They love their cattleman top. I think you're talking about the region wise. I think the brick top is definitely a northern thing.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I really think it's a northern style. I think as far as the brim goes, because we're focusing more on the crown right now.
Yeah.
I think as far as the brim goes, you have kind of like this style that we both are wearing, and then kind of a flat bill.
Now, I'm a very indecisive person. I've probably changed how I like my hat probably about 10 times. That is why I have an open crown right now. This used to not be an open crown, but I made it an open crown again. I actually like to shape my own hats, so that's how this has come about.
Well, and obviously my hat's a little out of shape. It's been a little weathered, and I don't think I've shaped this hat since I got it, to be honest.
But that goes on to our next topic in this topic is I absolutely hate when people, well, and more times than none, it's actually people that don't know what the hell they're talking about, talk smack on other people's hats. And that's why we're talking about this right now, because that shit needs to not happen. Like, unless it's like completely just beat the absolute hell. And even then, if you're a hand, you can wear whatever the hell you want. I mean, it really does not matter. And I think a lot of people, and not just in the Western in the Western culture or industry, whatever you want to call it, are too focused on what the hell other people are wearing. I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, seriously, it's ridiculous. I mean, that's just kind of the human race, but are so worried about what other people are wearing. But on that note, there is traditions and there's the Western culture and there's stuff that dates back many, many, many moons ago that it is very good to follow and just kind of keep it going. But that being said,
I think
a weathered hat, I mean, I like them a little weathered. This is just my fancy hat, so I don't wear it a whole lot.
Well,
I got another felt that I wear.
This
when
was
I'm
my
actually
fancy
beating
one.
That usually happens.
It was
See,
my fancy
my
one.
beater is not beat enough to switch to this one.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a ball cap, you know?
Yep.
You buy the hat, it's your fancy hat.
Until it's not.
You wear it to work a few times, it's no longer your fancy hat, it's now your work hat. Your work hat then becomes too weathered and is no longer a work hat or anywhere of a hat. And now all of a sudden, it's a never-ending process. You buy another one. That becomes your fancy. That one becomes your work hat eventually. You buy another fancy one. It's an... Excuse me. Never-ending cycle.
Well,
Too many beer burps there.
Mine... mine... This one, I'd like it to be out a little bit more. Just for practicality reasons. Keep the rain off me a little better. Which is primarily... I think people have gotten so wrapped up in the shape of their hats that
I'm glad you're bringing this up because I was literally thinking in my head I was going to talk about the curve up in the back.
Oh yeah, mine.
I mean, I've seen some people they shape it down in the back. I mean,
obviously mine's crooked and cockeyed, but that's because it sat on my dash and got hot and misshapen. And the crown's all beat up. I mean, this hat's beat up. I'm not gonna lie. It could definitely use some major touch-ups, but the practicality side of it is you want to keep your head, your neck, and if you can, your shoulders dry, which is why you see guys opting for the bigger brims sometimes. And sometimes it's just, especially when you get in the straw hat part of it, to keep the sun off you, which actually, we talked about the straw hat thing today.
all right. This is a very touchy subject for some people, all right? Especially you're not in the Great White North like we are. This is a very touchy subject.
Okay, so
Felt and straw season.
We want everybody to get
I know everybody watching this right now. They're going to talk about it.
We need every single person to comment. When do you think it's acceptable to wear your felt versus straw? If there's a time, weather, what it's depending on. Because we have our answer coming for you.
Oh yeah. No, I got a strong answer for you.
Because
I wear the felt whenever the hell I want, and the straw comes out when it's hot. I don't care what time of the year it is. I'm wearing the felt until it gets hot. And for you southern people, hot for Montana is 80 degrees. I mean, 80 degrees the straw comes out.
I mean, I've heard you put your felt away at Memorial Day, and you pull it back out on Labor Day. You don't touch it in between, and you only wear straw. I've heard weather dependent. I've heard whenever the hell you want. I've heard, May till September. I've heard a bunch of different things.
I'm pretty sure the actual proper thing is Memorial Day first or Easter. I don't know. Either way, around that time frame until Labor Day. I know for sure Labor Day is supposed to be like the cutoff, but I don't know. Up here, people wear felts year round. I don't know. I mean, if you wear a felt year round in Texas, they'd probably be like, "What are you doing?"
Well, I think it's just a fact.
What are you doing?
What do you think you're doing over there, young man?
Great state of Texas wearing a felt in summertime.
Oh, that's blasphemy.
That is blasphemy. How dare you? I'll wear the felt all year round if I want to.
Well, that's the thing up here is you can.
Yeah.
I mean, you think in Arizona, it might hit 100 degrees and not rain for 150 days.
No, and I get that too, and that's why they're a little bit more straw friendly down there. It's definitely hot. I mean, I love the heck out of Arizona. I'd love to have a winter house in Arizona one day.
Man, could you
brother?
imagine?
Wouldn't that be the bee's knees?
Ooh, it would be.
Anyhow, I want to. It's hilarious how wound up people get over it. I mean, come on now. Now, okay, but on that same topic, if you get caught wearing a straw in the middle of winter up here in the Great White North, you're probably gonna get
You're
looked
gonna
at.
get skinned.
You're
skinned alive.
Well, yeah, either skinned or you're definitely gonna get looked at. Like, what are you doing?
Well, I mean, that's just makes practical. It's
It's
practicality.
not practical. Not practical at all.
It's practical to wear a felt, not a straw.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was
No, no,
practical.
no. See, now I have been guilty of busting my straw out in the winter before, strictly because my felt was so damn dirty and we went to something nice. And granted, it was like 60 something degrees and it was December. It was nice out, so I really didn't care. But, at the end of the day, it is felt season, and we were just saying we really don't give a shit. But
And like I said, the whole reason we're talking about this is because it is absolutely ridiculous that in the Western industry, obviously, like I said, it's not just the Western industry, but in the Western industry and just the whole entire scene, I guess you could call it, people are so wrapped up in what other people are wearing, and it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I mean, what if I want to wear fucking sneakers, I'm going to wear sneakers. I don't care if we're working or not. I mean, tenny runners. What are they called? Tenny runners?
the biggest thing that I thought was funnier than hell the first time I saw it were those leather boots. You know those boots that have the totally flat bottom, there's no heel?
I think they're technically called wedge boots.
I've always heard them called
I think they're called technically wedge boots. So if you're watching this, wedge boots or lettuce pickers? What do you guys call them?
Yeah.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah, you definitely.
I think they're goofy, and I did try them out once.
They're comfy.
They're comfy, but I do like a defined sole, 100%. Let's see those tenny runners you got on.
If you can see this,
House shoes.
Here.
You're wearing house shoes right now.
yeah.
And I'll tell you
I
what.
had Cowboy in these damn things, right?
I'll tell you what. Danny is probably the only person that I can witness wears house shoes in the corrals. And just like, what are you doing?
I don't care. They're comfy.
Oh, man. Shit
you
up all in your socks.
All right. If I'm running from a freaking, like, if I'm on foot and I got to run from
All right.
a freaking
Well, you
cow,
know what? You're going to win that argument 100%.
and, there's a lot of days where you might spend half the day horseback, half the day on your foot. And when you're on foot, you get a cow behind you, I want something with traction. I can get my foot out of the stirrup. These are not going to hang me up in the stirrup.
We want to hear what type of person you are, all right? We're going to switch subject a little bit.
All right.
We might come back to the hats, but I want to switch up because it's fresh on my mind. I want to hear in the comments what kind of person are you? Are you a tenny runner while working person and not giving a flying hell what you're wearing? Or boots or house shoes like Danny?
Okay.
Because I got two modes.
Before you hit that, these aren't house shoes.
They're
These are-
house shoes.
They're grandpa shoes.
Well, that would fall under the same category.
Because I get hell for these shoes from my fiance, from everybody. I get hell from everybody because my fiance's dad, who is an older guy, I mean, not super old. Dan, if you listen to this, you're not old,
Oh yeah, you're on the shit list
but
now.
he's a little older. He wears these same shoes, and when he comes over, we get them mixed up.
Anyhow, I got two modes, brother.
2 modes.
I
And
got
that's it. Just 2 modes.
I got housing and I got goofing. I got dudes and I got my boots. If I'm not wearing my boots, I'm wearing my dudes. Actually, lately I got these Twisted X. I think they're called driving loafers, the technical name for them. I like the hell out of those Twisted X's. I've had ropers before. I'm not a big fan of the ropers, But the Twisted X's, driving loafers, brother, let me tell you. You get around with those things.
They
This is the same argument you have with those.
Oh, they're
but
just comfy and they're light. I like
the
light
problem
shoes.
is you find yourself in some shit, and all you got is some leather shoes on. You're gonna have some shitty socks.
That's fair.
So back. All right.
Hold on.
I'm easy to get down. I'm easy to get down a rabbit hole. So I need to tone back here.
Before you get too far down away from the topic.
Yeah.
I used to be a huge dude person. As far as shoes go, I love dudes.
Same with the
But
90% of the population here.
yeah, most people,
Dudes were like in.
dudes are kind of the fashion in Montana. Period. And I loved them. I cowboyed in them. I worked in the corral in them. I did everything in them. But I was going through a pair like every 6 months.
That is the downfall. That is 110% downfall of dudes. They do not last.
No, they don't last. And especially if you're trying to work in them. Which, did you know they made steel-toed dudes? I think they're steel-toe inserts for dudes.
So stupid.
Oh,
I'll just put my boots on. Well, I don't wear steel-toe boots, but anyway. I have steel-toe boots, but I do not wear my steel-toe boots unless I have to.
I switched to leather.
I do have a pair of steel-toe muck boots. They will not die, unfortunately. I'm trying my hardest to kill these muck boots because I bought them. I worked the trenches for an excavating company years ago, and I had to have steel toes. And I was like, this is kind of a good opportunity to buy new mucks. So I bought steel toe. Well, turns out I do not like working excavation. I do not like working in the trenches. So I did not work there long, and came back to the agriculture side of things. And now I'm stuck with steel toe mucks, and they're awful. God, they're awful. I'm just wanting them to die, and they will not die.
All right, so going back to the hats, I know this is a few conversations ago already at this point, but going back to hats, you told me to bring up cowboy hat or ball cap in the branding pen. And
hold that topic.
Hold that topic.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're getting cookies delivered to us, so we're gonna have to pause real quick.
All right.
So pause the recording. We'll be right back.
We got our cookies.
We got our cookies. Did you pause it?
Nope. I'm gonna show them the camera.
Homemade cookies, brother.
Fresh out of the dang oven. Okay, so we're back. Those were some of the best peanut butter cookies I've had in a long time. But we've talked about it today. It is actually Cinco de Mayo.
Oh, shit.
As we're videoing this.
I forgot. Yeah.
So.
Cinco de Mayo.
Hey! Good times.
Oh.
Good times.
We had tacos for dinner, too.
We did.
My wonderful lady made us tacos for dinner, so.
That she did. All right, but where were we in our conversation?
I don't know. Before we were not rudely interrupted because it's never rude if you bring cookies.
No, that's always a blessing.
Where were we?
I don't know, but we can go. So one thing I wanted to touch on too.
Yeah, let's hear it.
I know we were kind of talking about some hats and stuff and whatnot, but
oh, dude, we started off at hats. We ended up down a rabbit hole.
I don't know if we kind of got off topic, but one thing is rodeo conspiracies.
Rodeo conspiracies.
Yes, because you cannot, even I do this with my ball caps, my cowboy hat, whether I'm rodeoing or not, cannot put your hat on your bed at all. That is a big no-no. It's terrible luck.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know if you knew that one or not.
Oh, yeah.
But, no. Cannot put your hat on your bed. The other one that
I've
always...
No. That's where we were. I think we were at... we were going to bring up ball caps.
Ball caps in the branding
Yeah,
pen.
ball caps and branding. This is also another one. They're talking about it.
Okay. What's your opinion?
Some people are very strong about it. But I stand like I always stand on a lot of things. You can wear whatever the hell you want. But there is traditions, and basically you should want to wear a ball. you should want to wear your cowboy hat in the branding pen. It's just
So
tradition.
we're not saying it's bad to wear your ball cap in the branding pen. You know what? I've done it. I know people that do it. It's not a big deal. But the more, like, I don't know, you should want to do it. It's something that I think.
Yeah, no, without a
helps.
doubt. I mean, if someone goes in there with the ball cap, hell, as long as he's roping them and
Yeah.
not running people over with his horse, who gives a shit?
Oh, yeah.
Wear whatever the hell you want.
I know. Well, for our
Get the job
branding,
done. That's all that matters.
our branding, I've wore a ball cap for it. There's pictures of me wearing a ball cap in it. That's the only reason I remember that.
But the reason we're bringing this up is because people get so bent out of shape over it. And it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I get it. I get it. We're trying to withhold the Western culture and traditions and all that. I get it 100%. But don't lose your mind over someone wearing a ball cap doing a job. I mean, that's at the end of the day, that's what branding's all about. I mean,
You can only control you, and that's all that should matter.
absolutely. That's absolutely correct. But that's also another taboo conversation that people hate having, but it goes rounds, and it's ridiculous, I think. It's that people are so caught up on what other people are wearing.
Okay. Talking about taboo things, something that I know we were planning on going to is dog breeds.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Oh,
for
man.
me, I don't think dog breeds are that taboo. I mean, I'm a healer guy. I love my blue healers. I mean, I'm all right with the red healer. Probably never own a straight border collie. I know people love them. A lot of people love straight border collies. You know, people love hanging trees. Everybody has their breed, which is that's expected to have your own breed. But, you know, just because you think you like a certain breed or certain, like, say you want half healer, half border collie or something along those lines, doesn't mean Catahoula, border collie, something.
Was wrong. And I know where
Yeah.
you're getting at with this, and it applies to a lot of other things other than the Western industry or whatnot. Just because you think something is right doesn't mean other people are wrong for doing it another way. And that just opens up a can of worms for everything. But we won't go down that rabbit hole. This isn't a whole. I mean, if you don't want a blue healer, I mean,
we're not
you're
going to go
wrong.
down that rabbit hole or go into that dog den.
Dude, I mean, tell you what, man, my freaking dog. No, actually, matter of fact, my girlfriend's dog is way worse about it. Healers are whole digging son of a guns. I mean, our last house. Well, it's funny. We were just talking about this because, so my girlfriend's dog is actually sisters with one of Danny's dogs, and they are so similar. It's insane. I think we don't know because they're both res dogs, but not gonna go on that topic. But
Oh, bullshit, we're not.
res dogs.
We
are the
got
best dogs
res
ever.
dogs, and she is one of my favorite dogs. She is very personable.
okay.
Well, personable
Okay.
with me.
Anyways, mine's a red healer. His is a blue healer. That's why we think it's probably different dads or whatnot. But anyways,
Same dad, different moms.
Yeah, same dad, different moms, and you can tell.
But
both
the
of those
friend we
dogs
got-
are whole digging son of a gun because I was telling Danny this story this one time. This wasn't that long ago, but the last house I lived at, under the doghouse, my girlfriend's dog, the red healer, I mean, dug a tunnel system under that thing. I mean, both of my dogs could fit under there. And then Danny was like, wow, that's weird because mine did the same thing. She has her own little den.
Well, the one that's bad about it for us is my older dog.
Oh, Captain.
Oh,
Oh, fat
Captain.
Captain.
Old fat captain.
Fat Captain.
But he'll dig a tunnel like that big. And this dog's that big.
I was just about to say.
And I only know it's him because we had those tunnel systems before we got the other dog.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Captain is not fit through a hole like this. You need a hole like this.
Oh, shit. He tore a hole in a wire gate, and the hole was that big. and he squeezes his fat ass through it.
I think a lot of it is hair, but oh, you know it's funny. Anybody with an Idaho shag, you can almost. Well, okay, let's just say that when you meet somebody, 9 times out of 10, flat hatters, they're gonna have an Idaho shag, and you could just tell by how they are of what dog they're gonna have, and the people that are the most guilty of that are Idaho shag owners.
Idaho shag owners and old ranchers with healers.
Yes, your dad especially.
Oh yeah. Well,
Old Pistol Pete.
I also don't know any Idaho shag that has not grown up lapping up a bowl of beer. I don't know a single Idaho
Are
shag.
Jimmy's, aren't they hanging tree? Are they hanging tree or the Idaho shag?
Oh, he's got an Idaho shag. Chuck?
Yeah, Chuck.
He's
Oh,
lapped up a bowl of beer.
Maybe we should save this story for when Jimmy's on
Oh,
here.
yeah. We'll save that for Jimmy. That's going to be...
Because that was probably the funniest dog-related story I've ever been a part of.
What's the...
At your old house, we were playing poker.
Oh, my...
We'll give a short snippet. So we're playing poker with Jimmy, and his dogs are outside. Well, it was in a basement. It had the small windows in the basement. Well, it starts thundering and lightning, and Jimmy's like, "Oh shit! Like my dogs are deathly afraid of either thunder or lightning." Oh no, not afraid. They go barking.
Yeah,
they go chasing the thunder. Barking.
Yeah, they're not scared of it. His dog will literally see lightning hit the ground and get scared, but as soon as he hears the thunder, he'll take off running in the direction it came from, barking at it. Makes no sense.
But long story short, we go looking, and we're outside. We're like, "Oh shit, this dog's gone." Well, we go back inside, and somebody went into Danny's room, and like this dog was standing in the window, like, and this window is like way off the ground. So it's one of those small windows, like I said, and it was probably the freakiest thing ever.
It was the basement window, so the window was only like that high.
Yeah,
off the
so
ground
you
outside,
see his dog like
perched up on all fours in the
Just-
windowsill.
I mean, he was just as scared as we are of him because he was looking a little freaky. I mean, he's kind of a scary looking dog. But anyways, Idaho Shag, he's pretty cool. But we'll tell that story again in depth when Jimmy's on here.
Well, that was his border collie.
That was the other
Border
one?
collies are some of the weirdest personality dogs there are.
Oh, man.
That was old Chip, not Chip.
Oh, that's right. It was Chip.
I was Chip. And border collies are
Weird.
weird.
Very weird.
They're some of the best working dogs there are. I'm not going to argue that. But they are weird.
So mine, yeah, she's part Border Collie, Catahoula. But she's got those weird mannerisms to her, like, can't really touch her. But good working dog. I haven't used her a whole lot lately, but she's got that in her. And but yeah, like I said, if you don't want a Catahoula Collie, you're just wrong. Sorry. Just that's just the best, and that's the way it is.
Well, I disagree. If you're not going to have a dog that doesn't have healer in him, why have a dog? So, if you have a dog and it's not at least half healer, might
He's
as well
wrong.
just take
He's
it to
wrong.
pound. You're wrong.
What do we sound like? Everybody in the Western industry right now?
Yeah.
If you don't do it my way, you're wrong.
If your horse isn't this breeding, you're wrong.
So ridiculous. We gotta stop this shit. We need to
It's
start.
bad.
We need to start a movement.
Well, it's one thing to definitely be like,
Oh yeah, loyal to your decisions, 100%.
oh,
But
to
to
a
think
fault.
that other people are wrong because they're not following your life.
You
life
don't know
plan.
their system, you don't know what they're doing.
Well, and not to change the subject, but this can go into other bigger things that we have going on
you're
right
actually
now.
changing the subject.
Yeah, no, you're right. I'm changing the subject. Anyways, if someone's
We're
doing
gonna
something,
clip that.
Huh?
We're clipping that.
Oh, that's gonna be on Instagram, TikTok. Is that what you mean by clipping it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. That'll bring the people here. Anyways, nothing pisses me off more, and it's especially with what I'm trying to do and what me and Danny are trying to do right here. If someone doesn't do something exactly how they did it, the old way per se, it's wrong. And it happens a lot because I think that our generation moved pretty quickly with technology. So now everybody's trying to get on these technology trains and ride those. And our parents that grew up without technology like this, they're like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, you're out of your mind. But this is how, technology has advanced, and the world as a whole has advanced. And if you're trying to make money off of social media, what are you doing? What? So that's how that I feel wraps into a lot of things, and it can, like I said, that could be, we're opening up a can of worms right here, but we're gonna keep it very simple.
And mind this, you guys, like with us doing this podcast thing, I don't know about you, but I've caught some flack from my family.
Oh yeah.
Especially, I mean, I'm not gonna name names or go into that hole, but I've caught some flack.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you have or not.
Oh, this whole journey, man. This whole journey. What do you mean you're gonna sell hats and T-shirts? And try and live off of that?
I do remember that because years ago.
Are you fucking stupid? Maybe I'm stupid, but maybe it'll pay off one day. Maybe I won't have to break my back every morning.
Yeah.
Break my back every single day. I mean, it's gonna be a different type of work, but I'll be dang sure wanting to get out of, wrecking my body for a couple dollars.
Yeah. No, there's something to be said for trying to save your body, so that way, when you have grandkids or later in life.
Pete's sakes, man, I like to see my kids grow up and be able to throw baseball with my grandkids.
Exactly.
The way it's going right now, that's probably not going to happen. I'm pretty hard on my body.
Well, I mean, really, nobody wants to have to work.
Until
they die.
There's that. I mean, that's like everybody's goal is to not have to work.
There's a difference between not having to work
and wanting to work. Have the drive to want to do something.
I told my fiance my retirement plan was to have about 50 head of cows and have a few horses and just kind of have a small cow operation and run just a small cow calf operation until I die. And when I die, she can sell them, and that'd be good income for her when I die. But because I know I'm going to die first. I mean, it's inevitable. I know I've put my body through a lot more hardships than she'll ever have to put her body through.
Yeah, and I mean, man, that's the sacrifice we make as men, for sure. But it's also our responsibility to make sure that our families are taken care of and provided for. So, yeah. I mean, what it comes down to, we'll do anything that we have to do to make sure that our families eat. So, as of right now, most of us have to break our backs for a living to do that, and even then, that's pushing it with our current economy.
Oh yeah. Well, we touched on the economy, tariff a little bit on our last video. And I think that's all.
We've been warned not to talk about tariffs because we don't know a whole lot about it, but we could see some change coming. But at the end of the day, you don't work for it, you ain't gonna get it.
All I'm gonna say is, if you wanted to get into the cattle industry, right now we have record low numbers. This is the lowest the cattle numbers have been over the past 7 decades, and this is the highest the prices have ever been as well.
Yeah.
So
if you had the money, now would be. Well, I wouldn't say now would be the time to buy.
I'm not saying now's the time to buy. Now's the time to start watching.
Okay, that's a better way to put it. Now is the time to start making a plan of what's going to happen.
Yes.
Because if you have the money sitting there, you could be having the plans start to come together.
You could start watching that market.
Yep.
Wait till it dips. Get into it, because I know down
what comes
California,
up must come down.
Like I know in California, they calve in the fall. Like they're calving when we're getting ready to ship our calves out.
Yeah.
So I mean, calving seasons around the United States itself are all over the place. There's no one calving season. Like up here, guys are calving from the middle of January till middle of May.
But one thing's for sure, people are selling
Yeah.
right now.
Yep.
Now is the selling point, but like I
But it's
said,
scary.
well, it is scary. It's very volatile. I think
Very.
that's very very volatile. So that being said, what goes up must come down. We'll see what happens. But we're not going to speak on something we don't 110% know about. So maybe we'll sit down, do our research, and really get to know what we're talking about, and then we can discuss that with you guys. But
Well,
I mean,
have that research.
unless we have some.
We're gonna have that research because when we have my sister on here,
We go.
she does the cattle market report
Yep.
on Sirius XM.
So we
and
gotta-
She knows what the hell she's
We gotta
talking
get our
about.
ducks in a line here. We gotta get to studying.
Yeah. Well,
We gotta get to know our terminology because she's gonna make us look stupid when we get on here.
oh man. Well,
Because
You know-
she knows what she's talking about. And
you know what she told me the other day?
Mm.
Because she actually watches our videos, and she said, "Hey,
thanks, Shaylee.
yeah, thank
Oh,
you."
we're on cameras. Thanks, Shaylee.
She said, I thought you guys did much better than I thought you would on your first podcast. But from your first one to your 100th one, she said the growth is going to be crazy. She said, because she's been doing this cattle market deal for a few years now.
Yeah, if anybody's to like talk in front of a camera and do what she pretty much does what we do, but just not labeled as podcast.
She actually does this for a living.
Yeah, she talks in front of a camera and talks to a lot of people over a camera.
More than we'll probably ever reach.
Yeah, and so if we were to listen to anybody, it would be her.
And she said
That we know.
She can't even listen to her first episode
Why?
or her first video.
Oh, I thought
Because
you
she
meant.
just
I
said
thought
it
you meant
sounded
ours. I was
so
like,
raw, and she said like
no, but I feel that. I
understand
feel like that. Yeah, I feel like that with ours because it was kind of hard to, like when we're doing the editing, it's hard to rewatch ourselves.
oh so like, and it's easier for you because I mean you've been around the social media side of it for a little
Yeah.
while. You've
No,
been around-
but that's a good thing you said that, Danny, because a lot of people think that this is like me and this came natural. No, heck no. I mean, 3 years ago when I started this, man, I was a camera shy person. I mean, I had pictures of myself, and I was kind of always a class clown, and liked to be in front of the camera as far as pictures go. But when it came to talking in front, like to a camera and not talking to somebody, man, that was just taboo to me. So it's still weird. And like I said, with people seeing me doing this podcast and posting about my business, about the apparel business and all that, they're like, man, how do you do it? I was like, I just figured it the heck out. I mean, just went with it. And there's a lot of learning. There's a lot of nerves. I mean, still it is like doing this right now. There's still nerves to it, but that's business. If you want to be successful, you just gotta go. You gotta do it. But what do you got?
I was just gonna say, I know for me,
Yeah,
It's-
what's your take on this? Because you were, I really persuaded you to do this, and you sounded like you wanted to do this, but you've never done this, so I definitely want to get your take on this.
for me, it's I've never been in front of a camera outside of Snapchat, and even that, I would never even listen to my own Snapchats. I'd be like, if I did, I'd be like, oh,
Why did I take that?
hearing your own voice on recording is shell shock, to say the least, I guess.
Yeah. No, but okay, that's a good point. And that's what I wanted to kind of wrap around to talking about is you got to get out of your comfort zone for sure. I mean, I'm out of my comfort zone big time. But if you want to make something better yourself, you're going to have to get out of your comfort zone and do it. There's no other way to following your dreams unless you just freaking do it. And that's going to require a whole lot of things. Discipline, facing your fears. It don't matter. There's all that. It's just- I'm trying to be PG about this because I have strong opinions about this, but I'm also trying to make this somewhat family friendly. So,
Well, I mean, we can only do what we can do.
yeah, 100%.
Actually, the next video, I do kind of want to get into some of the family aspect too of it.
As far as what goes.
We'll find out. We'll talk about it. We'll find out.
Oh, brother, you're gonna force my hand on this. I mean, basically, all right, well, I'll give you a rundown. I did not grow up a cowboy. I did not grow up a rope in my hand. So doing all of this, really took some people by surprise. And I don't know if they're actually rooting for me or they're just surprised that I just keep making shit happen, you know? So you're always going to have naysayers and basically fuck what they say and just do what you want. You got to follow your dreams. You only got one life. It's a short life. You might as well live it the way you want to. Live where you want to. Do what you want. I mean, relatively speaking, I mean, you can't be stupid, but I was stupid once upon a time, and finally got it straightened out and found my path, but it takes a while to find your path, so...
Yeah.
I think that's gonna wrap up. I think we covered everything that we wanted to cover on this episode. Ain't that right, Danny?
I think we did.
Well,
and like I said,
I gotta think up a code real quick on the spot. What we're gonna do for this episode? I like to put a code on every episode, 10% off your entire order. Maybe
are we
maybe
using
once
the same one?
No, we'll do a different one.
A new one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know.
Healer.
Yeah, I guess we do dog brands. Let's do we'll do code healer across the top there. You'll have what we're gonna put on 10% discount, but 10% off your entire order. Head on over to twogunwesternapparel.com and get your gear, get your merch. I mean, the more hats and shirts you buy, the more you support me and Danny along this journey. If you keep wanting to hear us jabber on, go ahead and buy some stuff. But like always, appreciate all of you tune in, share it, like it, comment. Till next time, guys. Appreciate you.